Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call the meeting to order.
Okay, sure, I'm a great photographer.
At 6 p.m.
Requirement of Washington, D.C.
Can I get a roll call, please?
Michael Cashman.
Present.
Thomas Wood.
Here.
Barbara Hebert. Here. Charles Costick.
Here.
Dana Isabella.
Here.
James Coffey.
Here.
And I am Catherine Calucci.
Is there anyone seeking to provide public comment this evening?
Yes. Good evening, everybody. I am Jim Accurso. I'm a public affairs specialist with the Small Business Administration, Office of Disaster Recovery and Resilience. And I am here in Clinton County as a result of a couple of declarations. One, initially, when I first called on you, Mike, was the disaster declaration that was declared in Vermont for the flooding. There was a number of declared counties, and over here in New York, 3 counties, Clinton, Essex, and Washington, are contiguous to those declared counties. And that's where we offer our economic injury disaster loans to any businesses that have had any kind of an economic shortfall as a result of the flooding in Vermont. They could consider applying for our loans. The deadline to apply for those loans is next April 15th. So they have some time to look and see if they had an economic shortfall tied to any of the flooding that happened in Vermont during the period of July 7th to the 17th. Subsequent to that, there was a disaster declaration here in New York per Governor Hochul's request for flooding that you had, I believe it was a couple of weeks later in July. And due to that declaration, private nonprofits that perform that of a government that operate of a government nature, but in a non-critical sense, could apply for all 3 types of loans that we offer: the business physical damage loans, the economic injury loans, and the like. So there's a couple of different nuances to the disaster loans that we offer. The business physical damage loans and the economic injury loans, the cap on those are $2 million. If there was and those cover, again, I mentioned the economic injury, the business physical damage loans would be for inventory, for supplies, for real estate, anything tied to that private nonprofit. Again, it's a small window there, and that's tied to working with FEMA. The best thing to do in order, so that I don't get into the weeds really in the explanation, is anyone who feels they may have had a loss could go to sba.gov/disaster. And when you scroll down, you put in your state name and your county, and you see if you're if there is a declaration, a current declaration tied to your county, and then you could apply the fact sheets. All of the information is there, the application is there, and then the deadline dates and all that. Typically, our loans, we pay them out we try to pay them out if all the paperwork is in order within 4 to 5 weeks. The first payout could be up to $25,000. There is no obligation to take a loan if you're awarded it. There's no fee to apply, and there's no, like I say, there's no fee to apply, and there's no obligation to take it. Also, it's deferred interest-free for the first year. So we encourage folks to consider that benefit when they're weighing it against a grant versus a loan. In that second example that I talked about, the private nonprofit, you're working with FEMA. You apply with us, you get a loan, and then you go back to FEMA for grant possibilities. And again, that's all explained online, or when you do actually work with someone in our loan department, they will explain all of the nuances. lot of these programs folks don't know about, you know, that we're here to help, and, you know, we truly are, particularly in these disasters. Many times businesses, up to 25% of businesses don't recover following the disaster, so. But here, you know, we're here in New York, and I'm staying over in Vermont, but we're gonna be here through at least the middle of October. The declaration there was extended a month. So we have disaster recovery centers that we have staff at, where FEMA's at as well. Folks can come in and talk to someone, they can apply, they can find out all the information that.
What's the percentage on the loans?
The percentage on the loans is 2.375 for nonprofits and 4% for businesses.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Appreciate it.
you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Get your phone.
All right,
Yes.
three very quick things. As I kind of noted last week, I had an opportunity to share the proclamation or recognition of the 25th celebration and / commemoration of the Battle of Plattsburgh. Just want to congratulate them and all the volunteers for the hard work that they did. Also, a minor point of pride, the Rotary, Newton Rotary Club has an annual bed race. And what that means is they literally have these old beds that they put on caster wheels, and they have the athletic teams pushing kind of local not-so-celebrities. And Chris and I raced against each other, and glad to take that win back to the town. So worth noting in the records of the town. And then the last more serious note is we all know the William Pomeroy Foundation for their historical markers around the region. He actually was the Grand Marshal at the parade this year. It was the first time he's ever been to Plattsburgh. And Trevor, Jess, and I had the opportunity to tour him around on Friday and spend a significant amount of time with him, bringing him to the BMG, up to Clinton Community College. But there were two things that I took away from it. One was his just deep passion and interest for history, and how proud he was of us for having the champion marker and the Michigan marker and the traditional blue markers. But as we were going through the town center, he said, you know, I'm from the Syracuse area, and he goes, I really am quite impressed with the amount of development that is occurring on this side of the state. And he goes, you have a beautiful region, and you know, it's nice to just hear that from somebody that travels around New York State a lot. And you know, it was neat, and he said that hopefully he would be back. So I just want to thank Trevor and Jess for helping to organize that. So.
I got to be his marshal
Oh.
for the parade. So.
Yeah, just a really down-to-earth
He
individual.
is very tall.
Yes, I'll say.
Very, very tall.
This evening, it is a work session, but we do have one active resolution for consideration. It's Resolution 204, New York City Association of Towns Annual Meetings of 2024.
Whereas it is in the best interest of the town that the employees and their respective board members remain current and informed concerning changes in regulation, and whereas training is being offered in New York City through the Association of Towns from February 18th of 2024 to February 21st of 2024. Therefore be resolved that the town is taking advantage of early bird registration pricing, and the following individuals be approved to attend the annual meeting: Supervisor Michael S. Cashman, Deputy Town Supervisor Charles A. Costick, Town Board Members Tom E. Wood, Barbara Hebert, and Dana Isabella. We have further resolved that the aforementioned individuals receive training for the year 2024, and the expense of their training be paid from each department's budget. And be further resolved that the supervisor be authorized to submit a receipt for payment for said yearly training, and a copy of this resolution be given to the finance manager, and a copy be placed in the respective personnel files.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Hebert, is there a second?
Second?
Isabella. And again, I just want to provide some context on this. The reason that we're doing it this way right now is there are some early bird pricing, so this gives us flexibility in locking in some stuff So some things could still change between now and the February conference. It obviously is far enough out, but it provides us an opportunity to get out there and take advantage of the early bird pricing, so.
And we appreciate it, the opportunity for all of us to be able to go. And sometimes we like to rotate so that others can go on a certain year.
so.
Did anyone else put forth a request to go?
No. The justices have an opportunity to go. They have chosen not to go to the conference at this time based on what
Okay.
is on their agenda. So,
Okay.
no further conversation. Can I get a roll call, please?
Thomas Wood,
Yes?
Barbara Hebert,
Yes.
Charles Costick,
Yes.
Dana Isabella,
Yes.
Michael Cashman.
Yes, resolution does carry. Thank you. Just a quick preview of the rest of the materials in the packet as draft for the next meeting is minutes, disposal of obsolete equipment. Then there is a resolution to hold a public hearing for local law number 3 of 2003, amending the solar law, energy local law. Then there is a resolution to type 2 secret action local law number 4 of 2023, which is amending of the local law number 1 of 2023. And then finally, there is a resolution to hold a public hearing for local law number 4 of 2023, a local law amending local law number 1 of 2023. This is all procedural in the way that they're broken down as it relates to those things. So, just so there's no confusion, like, well, why aren't these just one big resolution? It's procedural, typing, so on and so forth.
So we're taking the 12-month moratorium off of the Tier 3 solar energy, and we're keeping it on battery.
Correct.
Okay, so we finished part of what we intended. Okay.
And that's like what we had said before, we were gonna be, very process oriented to go through, and not to slow things down unnecessarily in certain categories, but still, make sure that we're getting the information that we need for the next parts of it.
And the local law is effective April 20th, so we're backdating it.
What are you talking about?
No, I don't believe that's the case. You're talking about the draft that's in front of
I
you?
guess, local law for 2023, the term moratorium imposed by local laws will be effective for a period of 12 months.
Which one are you looking, which
He's
resolution
looking at
are
the
you?
draft.
He's actually looking at the local law draft, Michael. Local law number 4 of 2023. Yeah,
On the last page,
page 3.
page 3.
Yeah.
In the second area, under term.
Yeah, I'll get clarity for that, Tom. So,
I believe that's the intent.
And then I had a question on section 9 hardship.
yep,
I don't quite understand why they would need a hardship in this instance, since if they don't already have one existing, why would we do it?
Yeah, well, this point, you can bring
Go
that
back
up.
to
Yeah.
Apex 1,
Yeah.
yep,
Okay.
so,
so I don't see something having that.
is there anyone?
On the other one, just a clarification.
Which one?
This is, resolution to hold public hearing for local law number 3. It says that it's,
Number 2, 3, XXX.
Yep,
yeah, they're all the same. That one, says it's a type 1 action. On the other hand, it says type 2 for the same thing, I think.
but there's a reason that these are separated out, Tom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're all divided into their unique kind of buckets for it, so.
All right. Probably need more clarification later then.
And the two things that I would say is, one is if you have direct questions, Barb has been liaisoning with the planning department, and the other part too is feel free to reach out to Trevor and Jess. And I'm gonna try to have them come to, a meeting in the future, to cover some stuff, but.
We'll be voting on this before the meeting, or will they be able to?
They'll be coming at a
Well-
work
At a
session.
work
Well,
session.
Yeah.
no, this is, you're just holding public hearings.
We're setting
Yes.
public hearings,
Yes.
that's what this
And
is.
you could, that'd be
Yeah.
a perfect opportunity to raise your questions if you
Yeah.
wanted to.
Yeah,
Feel free to reach out to me.
yeah,
as
and
well.
that's why I'm saying that these really are, you know, the process of moving it forward. It's not, we're not finishing, this process will not be completed next week, so. All right, is there anyone seeking to provide any committee reports this evening? Going once, going twice,
Just a couple things.
Yeah.
Want to thank the town clerk, we're still working on the record management grant. There is a policy procedures draft that's in place right now. So thank you, Katie, stay tuned for some more opportunity to review those at some point soon. So, and the only other thing is Dana and I had met with Trevor and Jess, and again, one of the things that's exciting is the developer's guide. Michael has touched upon that in various meetings. And also the survey, which I've been getting some good feedback, and thank you, Katie, there's some out by your office. Michael, do you have a count on the latest,
it's like just shy of 3,000.
okay, when we met, I think it was 2,400, Dana, so,
Yeah.
okay.
All right, knowing the need for an executive session, I would entertain to go into an executive session as it relates to the work history of two specific individuals. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Hebert, is there a second? Caustic, can I get a roll call, please?
Nothing.
No formal action to be taken.
Litigation or any,
Thomas
Uh,
Floyd?
uh,
Tom Wood?
yes.
Barbara Hebert?
Yes.
Charles Costick?
Yes.
Jane Isabella?
Yes.
Michael Cashman?
Yes, we will enter executive session at 6:17 PM. Again, no formal action to be taken this evening.